Have you ever wondered which armies were the most powerful and numerous in history? How did they compare to the modern military forces of today? In this video, we will explore some of the largest armies ever assembled, from ancient times to the present day. Let's start with the Xia Dynasty, the first Chinese dynasty that existed around 2000 BC. According to some sources, they had an army of 12,000 soldiers, which was the largest fighting force in the world at that time. The only other army that came close to this size was the Uruk of Mesopotamia, who had about 4,000 troops 1,000 years earlier. Fast forward to the 13th century BC, when the Egyptian pharaoh Ramses II led an army of 100,000 men against the Hittites at the Battle of Kadesh. This was the first recorded army to reach 6 figures in history. However, the battle ended in a stalemate, and both sides agreed to a peace treaty. The Persian Empire, under Cyrus the Great, was one of the most expansive and influential empires in history. At its peak, it stretched from India to Greece and had an army of 500,000 soldiers. Cyrus was known for his tolerance and respect for the cultures and religions of his subjects, which helped him maintain his vast empire. The Mauryan Empire, founded by Chandragupta Maurya in the 4th century BC, was the first pan-Indian empire that unified most of the subcontinent. It had an army of 630,000 soldiers, which was the largest in the world at that time. The empire reached its zenith under Ashoka, who embraced Buddhism and promoted non-violence and welfare for his people. The Roman army was the most formidable and disciplined military force in the ancient world. It had a professional and well-trained army of 500,000 soldiers at its height and could mobilize up to 1,000,000 men in times of war. The Roman army conquered and controlled most of Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East for centuries, until its decline and fall in the 5th century AD. The Tang Dynasty, which ruled China from the 7th to the 10th century AD, was one of the most prosperous and culturally advanced periods in Chinese history. It had an army of 800,000 soldiers, which was the largest in the world at that time. The Tang Dynasty expanded its territory to Central Asia, Korea, and Vietnam, and fostered trade and cultural exchange along the Silk Road. The Mongol horde, led by Genghis Khan and his successors, was the largest contiguous land empire in history. It spanned from China to Eastern Europe and had an army of over 1,000,000 soldiers at its peak. The Mongols were known for their ruthless and efficient warfare, as well as their religious tolerance and legal code. The Ming Dynasty, which ruled China from the 14th to the 17th century AD, was the first dynasty to have a standing army of over 1,000,000 soldiers. The Ming Dynasty defended China from foreign invasions, such as the Mongols and the Japanese, and also sent naval expeditions to Southeast Asia, India, and Africa. The Napoleonic Wars, which lasted from 1803 to 1815, involved most of Europe and some parts of the world. Napoleon Bonaparte, the Emperor of France, amassed the largest army in history up to then, with over 2.5 million soldiers at his disposal. He conquered most of Europe and tried to invade Russia, but was ultimately defeated by a coalition of Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria. World War II, which lasted from 1939 to 1945, was the deadliest and most widespread war in history. It involved more than 70 million soldiers from over 30 countries and resulted in over 50 million deaths. The largest armies in this war were the Soviet Union, with over 34 million soldiers, Germany, with over 17 million soldiers, and the United States, with over 16 million soldiers. Today, the largest armies in the world are China, with over 2.1 million active personnel, India, with over 1.4 million active personnel, and the United States, with over 1.3 million active personnel. However, the size of an army is not the only factor that determines its strength and effectiveness. Other factors, such as technology, training, strategy, and allies, also play a crucial role in modern warfare. We hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new about the largest armies in history. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more interesting and informative videos. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.